systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Shipping Nation YouTube station? Back in the saddle with my guy, Gyiraszin. Love doing shows with Gyiraszin. He just tells it how it is, right? He just talks out of his ass, talks out both sides of his mouth, has some laughs, has a good time, and he knows baseball as well. So looking forward to breaking down this 12-game monster slate on DraftKings. We got one clear-cut pitcher option for sure, a couple other guys as well. We do have a top-tier loaded slate in terms of pitching arms. There's some question marks with some of the guys. Wouldn't be shocked if any of them have ceiling performances either. And then we got some cheaper guys as well that look pretty good for their matchups. Massive contest tonight on DraftKings, the main event warm-up, 333, $200K up top. Hopefully we see a Ship It Nation logo next to that $200,000 prize. Gyiraszin, missed you in Vegas, brother, but I'll bring you in. What's going on, man? Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, sounds like I missed a hell of a time from what you were saying before we hopped on. But, hey, I'm glad you all got to go out there, have a good time, and be with the fellas. I mean, hey, wasn't the original plan supposed to come back to Michigan and do the live fucking championship thing? And that, obviously went to crap. But live tour just basically went to shit real quick. But, I mean, that was a good time when you all came here too, and got to hang out at the casinos and bars and all that fun. It's always fun to hang around the fellas. So yeah, I do. I'm a little bummed, but man, I got so much shit going on, Nades. I told you, pre-show, I'm going to Nolesman's house this weekend here. First weekend of college football. He's having a big party at his house because Florida State's playing at like 7:30, playing some cupcake. And then basically the weekend after that is obviously Labor Day. And I'll be out my campground for about 4 or 5 days, drowning my liver and playing cornhole. And then the weekend after that, I got a golf trip up north in Michigan. And then after that, basically it's football time, Nades. It's like, we're here at football time. We got college football on Saturdays and we got some pro on Sundays. And then, of course, you get the fun on Monday night when you get home from work. So we're coming in a great time of year, man. I mean, baseball's kind of winding down, which, hey, I love me some baseball, but dude, the fall is awesome. Like when you can put on some shorts and a sweatshirt and, be comfortable, that's to me is the best weather. The leaves are going to change here soon. So man, Nades, I mean, we got it going on. We got it good, but yeah, exciting to get down here to the nitty gritty. I'm going to have to find me a new team here to adopt for the playoffs this year, because my Tigers sure the hell aren't getting there. I mean, I got your Brew Crew because, I want you all to beat the Dodgers, because I do not want Scooble to win just because he's being such a little bitch before he left. But either way, I'm going to have to find me a new squad. The Brewers are on my list. They're on my short list here. I'm going to have to see how it's playing out. But the American League's just so damn weak, like Matt and I were talking. Like, it's weak. Like, I've not seen such an American League so weak. I don't even know who the hell could come out of it. I mean, Tampa looks like the best bet, but yeah, good times coming around. Excited to talk about this slate. What we got? 12 whopping big games here tonight, which we usually have big slates. Usually Tuesday, Fridays are the good money slates out there in DFS land. But yeah, I mean, we got an interesting slate. Like we were saying, Nate, we got some guys, some pitchers that you can kind of poke holes in, but then we got a team today who strikes out the most against right-handed pitcher, against Gavin Williams, who, like you said, K-props like freaking 8.5 with juice on the over. That's like fucking insane. And then you got Libator going against the Orioles, who also strike out the most against left-handed pitching. So it's like, man, seems pretty easy to me, but maybe there's some other guys we can talk about and maybe see about throwing them into our pool here. But interesting slate, Nades, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, should be a fun one here. Say hi to a couple of people in chat. Philly Phantom, Michael W., Warren Tyler, Matty Ice, our guy Newen's in here, Speedy Slug. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Our guy wins a lot. Saw him down in Vegas. It was nice to see him at DGen 75's event Friday night. I know I was late showing up to that. thanks to Delta out of Detroit. Fuck that city. But yeah, we're back. We made it. I made it to Vegas 9 hours late. But don't worry, Title and I made up for it. Like I said yesterday on the show, Title went to bed when people were coming out of the elevator, and Ham was texting them to go play dice, and we were just laying our head down on the pillow. So it was definitely a fun night, fun weekend, but it'll be more fun if we find 200 stacks here tonight in our contest. You alluded to it. Gavin Williams is the clear-cut SP1 on the slate. Hard to argue outside of ownership. His ownership's going to be high, but it's not going to be like he's going to be 80% owned. I mean, the dude's going to be probably 40% in MME, 60 to 70% in single entry, small field stuff. And I just don't see how you get away from it, to be honest. He's been like a third, almost a 42% strikeout rate guy in the last 8 starts or 10 starts, something like that. He's a 30+% strikeout guy on the season, gets the best strikeout matchup in baseball against the Angels. The only downside you can pull is it is a decent hitter's park and decent weather, but you got to make contact with the baseball for it to matter. So Gavin Williams looks like the clear-cut SP1. No shocker there at 10.5. You do have to pay for it. And you have guys like Kyle Harrison, Jacob deGrom, Paul Skeens at $1,500 to $1,000 cheaper, right? So Gavin Williams is going to have to post a score that is higher than high enough, right? Points per dollar wise to outmatch some of those guys. I don't foresee him not doing that. But in terms of pitching, take it 8K all the way up to Gavin Williams. Talk on Tyler Glasnow coming back from the IL, making his first start. He went 77 pitches in his rehab start. You have to assume Dodgers are going to be super careful with him. Kyle Harrison either strikes out 75 guys or gets pulled after 60 pitches with no strikeouts. He's 9,500, gets a really good pitcher's ballpark and matchup for strikeouts there. Jacob deGrom coming off a massive game after he got pulled in the second inning for arm fatigue. We just saw Kumar Rocker mow the same team down last night. And then Paul Skeens, his velocity's been dropping. Maybe Landon's probably throwing harder than him right now up there in Detroit, hoops boy. So I don't know what's going on with Paul Skeens. And then any of these other guys, these fringe guys down in the 8K range, Urena, Bradley, Kirby, King, what are you doing in this top tier?
I mean, it's pretty simple. Gavin Williams' matchup is just elite against the Angels, who we've been picking out all damn year. And then we say, oh, we always like a good strikeout righty against the Angels. Well, I mean, we got pretty much the pimp of strikeouts so far this year up to this point. I mean, and I've been talking about looking at their latest numbers here in the last 30 days as we get later in the season. And Gavin Williams' strikeouts have picked up. He's at almost 41.5% to the left side. He's at 37.5% to the right side so far, in the last 30 days. He's looked really good. He has been giving up a little bit of power, though. But I'm not really too concerned about this lineup that the Angels are throwing out there. But, I mean, 8.5K prop, I don't think we've seen that all year, Nades. So, that's something to be said within itself. Damn, that's a pretty high K prop. I mean, and you want to move down. I mean, Williams is really high up there. I can't poke too many holes in what he's got other than he has been getting hit a little bit. But, the strikeouts should be able to cover that. I would expect him to have 10 Ks tonight. I mean, I think that 8.5, they got to bump it up that high because he's probably going to have a handful. He's been looking good. Glasnow, man, I thought about Glasnow, I'll be honest with you. I mean, you're sitting here looking at a guy who I looked up his last start, rehab start. He got almost to 80 pitches. The Dodgers are notorious for yanking guys out a little bit early, but he's sitting at a 6.5K prop. Glasnow's he's always been a guy that we've used chasing for strikeouts. I get he's coming off the IL, so we don't know exactly what we're getting. The game does have an 8.5 K prop, but you got Olsen. I think there's some strikeouts. Dubon's at 13% for strikeouts. Albies is at 18%. Everybody else is 22% and higher. Well, Harris is 21%. But Austin Riley, 32%. Murphy, 42%. So, there are some strikeouts to be had there. So, I think Glasnow for me is like a tournament play that I would leave in my pool. I just feel like he's a decent pivot off Williams. Williams isn't, it's just not a lock. Like I said, he has been getting hit a little bit. I do think he's going to get pretty high ownership. So if you're looking to pivot off Williams, I think Glasnow would be a guy I'd look at. Harrison, like you said, what are we getting? 90 pitches one game, 70 the next, 80 the next. I mean, he's kind of like a boomer bust, but we get a matchup against the Mets. We've been kind of picking on the Mets. The Mets have been pretty good here, actually, the last month. But we got a game total sitting at 7.5. You got Benj, Robert, Jared Young, Ewing. So you got 4 bats that are over 24% for strikeout rate. Lindor and Bichette and Torrens, they're not going to get too much out of them. Actually, Kyle Harrison's looked pretty good in his last 30 days. He's at 41% strikeout rate to the left side. He's at 31% strikeout rate to the right side. He's 8 Ks, 3 Ks, 10 Ks, 2 Ks. So, it seems like every other start. To me, that's the definition of a tournament play. So I don't mind Kyle Harrison either, but I do prefer Glasnow, I think, over Harrison. And then we get to DeGrom. I think DeGrom is interesting. I mean, you mentioned they yanked him for arm fatigue. He did have another start where he ended up coming out. He had the 10 Ks. They let him get the 94 pitches. So with that being said, and that matchup was against Washington, who, man, Washington been smashing the shit out of the baseball around that time when he came in. He's got a matchup against the White Sox. I don't really like to mess with the White Sox, to be truthful, but they do have some strikeouts. Murakami's at 32%. Colson Montgomery's at 36%. Brenton Doyle, 34%. You got a handful of other guys are in the high teens. So I think DeGrom could get the job done. His last 30 days, his strikeout percentages have gone up a few percentage points to the left side. He's right about the same percentage points for the right side so far. So, I think DeGrom is a guy, especially at his price, that I could buy into. I do like DeGrom more in Glasnow and Harrison. So I'd leave him there. I just don't like the matchup against the White Sox. I just feel like I need to get the whiskey bottle, Nades. It's just one of them things. It's like, damn it, I've been bitching about that all year. I don't like to fuck with the White Sox. And then you got Paul Skeens. That dude's already thinking about what his wife's wearing when he's on the mound, when he's getting home. Like, I think he done mailed it in. Like, it don't even seem like he's home. Like, I don't even know, man. I'm skipping Skeens. I don't want nothing to do with Paul Skeens. Urania, I'm not really interested in Urania either. I mean, it's just, I can't do it. And then, you start getting down here with the Bradley, Kirby's, and Kings. I think there's a few guys down below, like we already mentioned, Libator. I got a few guys up top that I do think have some high strikeout ceilings today. And I think these guys down here in this low 8K, high, middle 8K range, I just don't like the upside I'm getting at all. I think today is a day that I'm going to have to worry about the high upside of pitching. So Gavin Williams with that matchup could easily get 12 Ks today. I mean, the K prop's 8.5. I mean, it's not like he's going too much higher than that. So, I mean, to me, I think pitching's a little scary. I'm getting worried about these guys down below, the Kirby's, Bradley's, Uranias. I'd have a hard time with that. But I do say moving on up, I'd go Gavin Williams by far is the best pitcher. And then I'd go DeGrom, Glasnow, and Harrison. And, man, I got a gut feeling that Glasnow is going to put up a pretty big game today. I mean, when you're a guy like Glasnow and you're walking out there and you just brought in a guy like Tarek Skubal, if you don't think that these dudes are going to feed off each other, come on, man. Like, that pitching staff's sick. So they're all sitting there looking at each other like, man, I got to outdo this guy. And Glasnow ain't going to get left out. That guy's got a rocket for an arm. So I do like Glasnow. I mean, I don't really love the matchup, but I think on this slate, he's definitely interesting. I think he'd be right there, not too far below DeGrom for me, but I don't like picking on the White Sox, man. Like, I'm kind of torn. When the slate comes up, I might put Glasnow ahead of DeGrom. But, man, Gavin Williams by far is the best pitcher on the slate.
Yeah, I agree with Gavin Williams, number one. I do have DeGrom, number two. I know the matchup is kind of scary picking on the White Sox there, but DeGrom is a million times better than Kumar Rocker. Rocker just, he gave up a home run or two. And even if DeGrom gives up a home run or two, I think he can match it with the strikeouts. Props would agree. 6.5 K prop, juice to the over there. Third best on the slate behind Glasnow and Gavin Williams. So I do have DeGrom too. I'm not playing Paul Skeens. I think you can play him if you want to. The matchup, his velocity's consistently dropped since last season, continues to go down. He gets one of the worst strikeout matchups in baseball against the Padres, who are hitting the ball right now. I know the ballpark's good, but I just can't do it on a 12-game slate with this good of pitching overall. So I'm out on Paul Skeens. I do want to hit on Glasnow and Harrison. I have Harrison slightly above Glasnow just because I don't know what Glasnow's pitch count's going to look like. Now, Glasnow has the better strikeout matchup. I get that. He does mow down righties. He's going to see Acuna, Riley, Murphy, and Dubon. Braves douche K a decent amount, about 25% over the last month against right-handed pitching. It's just there's a lot of unknowns. So far for the $500 savings, I do slightly prefer Harrison just because, I mean, if Harrison goes out there and gets you his 90 pitches, which usually is where he's been living in this ballpark in Citi Field, I think he can post 8 to 10 strikeouts. So I do like him. I think he's going to be a little lower owned as well off of a guy like DeGrom. So for me, I rank this top tier. Gavin, number one, clear cut, then a drop off a cliff down to DeGrom, then Harrison, then Glasnow. I'm out on Skeens, out on Urena, out on not playing Kirby or King. I do want to talk on Taj Bradley. I was all over Zebby yesterday. I played a shit ton of Zebby Matthews yesterday. Worked out well for me. The issue I have on this slate with Taj Bradley in this ballpark is he's $2,000 more expensive than guys like Brady Singer, Anthony Kay. We're going to talk about Liberatore. I don't know why I need to play a guy in Taj Bradley who, in terms of props, has worse props in Vegas than guys who are $2,000 cheaper than him on a slate where we have 12 offenses to pay up for. We have the Dodgers. We have the Yankees. We have, obviously, the Twins and the A's. I think he's a good play on a different slate. I just can't get there at 8,500. I wouldn't be shocked if he posts a good game. Same reason I was on Zebby yesterday. His props are good. It's just compared to the price point and the cheaper options we have on the slate, I just rather spend down. I know you're going to get Bradley lower owned, but again, I just rather prefer upgrading my bats than playing Taj Bradley. So that's kind of how I see the top tier. It's really the 4 guys at the top for me, headlined obviously by Gavin Williams. Majority of my teams are going to be anchored with Gavin Williams, and then one of the cheaper options, if I can afford double spend ups, then DeGrom would be second, like I said, Harrison third, Glasnow 4. But ideally it's going to be one of those top guys and a cheaper arm on the slate. And I think you can actually play 2 of these cheaper arms that we'll talk about here. Let's drop down below 8K here, Gyiraszin. Obviously, Liberatore looks like the best points per dollar play on the slate. Ownership's going to be pretty decent, but you do have Aaron Nola as well, who's going to command a decent amount of ownership. He's coming off a good start. He's better than a $6,700 arm talent overall long-term. I know he's given up the most home runs in baseball. He hasn't looked like himself. He's still pitching in Seattle. I'm kind of calling last night an anomaly. Zach Wheeler in Seattle. I don't care what happened last night. I would not be shocked to see both sides of this game. I think Nola can have a good game, and I won't be shocked to see Seattle hit a couple home runs. But I do think Nola at $6,700 does have a lot of strikeout upside. I prefer Liberatore straight up over him. I think ownership's going to be kind of split between those guys. So for me down here, it is Liberatore number 1, Nola 2. I think Brady Singer's a little interesting. Anthony Kay, I think, is interesting. And then talk to me any interest in a guy like Adrian Hauser. He's familiar with Cincinnati, obviously, when he's pitched with Milwaukee. He gets this amazing matchup. I mean, we just saw a shitty pitcher, Wisenhunt, just absolutely mow this team down yesterday until he got injured. I mean, can you stomach an Adrian Hauser at $5,700 on this slate and just flip the build completely? How do you see the lower tier here?
Yeah, the lower tiers got a lot of options for us. And before I kind of get into that, I was wanting to answer Metro Boom here about King. King's going to see like 6 lefties, and his strikeout percentage is pretty low. It's like 19% for the season. His last 30 days has been down to 17%. So with the options we have that we're going to talk about below here, which I think we got like 3 or 4, like 4 good ones, like maybe 5 that we can look at. And then, like we said, with the upside that we have on top, a guy like King, I just don't see the upside in the ceiling. Like if we had a 6-game slate, like I'm looking for outs, King would be a guy I'd consider playing. But when I got a strikeout upside kind of slate here we got today, I do worry a little bit about that. But, you mentioned, what we're working with down below. I think for me, yeah, Libator for me is my favorite down below. Like we said at the top of the show, I mean, the Orioles strike out the most against left-handed pitching. You do have a strikeout or a fly ball type pitcher, though, in Libator against Baltimore. But I think we're all right there. I do like Libator. His strikeout percentages look pretty good. Nola, you mentioned Nola. Nola's been interesting. I mean, his last 3 starts, he's at 8 Ks, 9 Ks, 8 Ks, and he's been basically 100 pitches, 97 and 97. He gets a Seattle team that I don't really fear. We like the park. It's a whiskey bottle type play. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, what are we looking at here? I mean, maybe, the big dumper, Josh Naylor. I mean, I'm not too concerned about it. Nola does give up a lot of power. I mean, that's definitely something. It has dropped, though, in the last 30 days. He went from getting barreled up by lefties from 9% to 4%. He was at 10% down to 8.5%. So he hasn't been getting hit as hard as last 30 days. And I've been saying it the last couple of weeks, like as we get to the tail end of the season, especially pitching, I'd put more into the last 30 days than I do most things, just because I feel like, our guys wearing out, or they worn down, or they lost interest, and, so forth. What do the pitch counts look like? So I think that matters. And now we're going to start getting to that time of year too, where the rosters are going to expand. And, we're getting to that time where it's going to get fuzzy. But either way, I mean, I think Nola definitely has some strikeout potential. I think Singer's another guy that we definitely got to look at playing. I mean, normally Singer isn't a guy that I'm looking for strikeouts, obviously. But, dude, that San Francisco AAA lineup has just been god-awful. Singer's been over 100 pitches his last, 5 out of 6 starts. But, I mean, we're lucky if we're going to get 4 or 5 Ks. But, I mean, at 6,800, if you're looking for some outs and you're looking for, a guy that might be able to get you a quality start, I think Singer's something you're going to look at. I mean, I do like him a little bit more on FanDuel just because he's got so many quality starts here. But, I mean, Singer is just somebody that I don't mind. You mentioned K. He's just another guy that's got I don't know. I just don't like the matchup really that he's got. He's going to get 7 righties. He's down at a 15% K rate against righties. That does concern me a little bit. So I do have K a little bit lower down in my low end pool here. But you mentioned Hauser. I think Hauser, I mean, he's actually, if you look at his game log when you were talking about him earlier, I mean, he gets a Cincinnati team that does have some strikeouts. His last 3 games, he's been at 17, 21, 17 points. I do like where he's at here in recent times. I mean, we're sitting here looking at the park. I like the park. I mean, I don't mind the matchup, actually, at all. He hasn't been getting hit hard very well in recent times. And you look at the Reds, Ellie's at almost 28%, Stevenson 28, Eugenio 33, McLean 30, Myers 27. The other 3 bats are at mid 21% range. So there's definitely some strikeouts for Hauser to be had. But I mean, again, he's just not a big strikeout arm either. So I'd have him ranked a little bit below. But man, down below, Nades, I think I'd just kind of keep it tight. I'm not playing Scherzer, Bassett, not playing Lugo. I ain't playing none of them guys. Maybe Will Warren I'd maybe look at. I don't love it. I mean, if I had a deep pool, I'd consider him in there. I don't really like Jump either. But Libator, easy, number 1 for me down below. And then I think I'd probably go Singer, Nola, and then I'd probably go Hauser is probably where I'm looking. But for me, overall, salary included, ownership, I'd be going Gavin Williams and Libator on DK would be my favorite pairing. for that I'd look at. And then if I wanted to mix up and get away from Gavin Williams, I think that's where I'd start to maybe keep in some of my low end guys, maybe not go double up pitching, and maybe throw in a Harrison, a Glasnow, or a DeGrom, and then still maybe use one of these lower end guys. But I do think there's some high end pitching today that we should be aware of and be a little bit more concerned of, more so than we have on normal slates. This is definitely a slate we could see some strikeout. When we got a top guy with 8.5K prop nades, that is definitely something we need to be concerned about.
Yeah, obviously Gavin Williams is the main decision point. It's pretty easy decision point for me. It's play him. But again, not a lock button play. It's still baseball at the end of the day. I do rank the lower tier a little bit different than you. I do have Liberatore number 1. I do have Aaron Nola 2, and then Hauser 3. I just think Anthony Kay and Singer, the matchups for those guys. I mean, you're hoping for 10 to 15. Is that enough on this slate? I don't know. The props on Hauser are better than both of those guys for cheaper. He's got a 3.5K prop. Yeah, those other guys have a 4.5K prop, but Hauser's minus 158 on the other on the over, and those guys, Singer and Anthony Kay, are juiced to the under. So you kind of meet in the middle, and just give me the $1,000 savings right off of that in pitching against Cincinnati, who we've been streamlining pitchers against. He knows this team. I think it's a really good spot for a dirt cheap guy. But ideally it's Nola or Liberatore if I can get there. When we talk on Seattle bats, I do like some Seattle bats as well against Nola, but this is a clear cut sign of he's cheaper, or he's too cheap for his talent at $6,700 pitching in Seattle, basically, is what it comes down to. And if he gives up a home run or two to guys like Arozarena or Canzone, sure. You're still fine. You can get away with it. So that's kind of how I see the pitching pool. It's Gavin Williams, Liberatore, Nola, the 3 main headliners, then DeGrom, then probably Harrison, then Hauser, and then Glasnow is kind of how I see it overall. Any final takes?
We got a lot of options for pitching. There's going to be a couple clear-cut favorites, but I think we got a lot of different options. It seems like in the last, few weeks we've been struggling to find some good pitching. So it's kind of nice to see some, at least we got some options on the board.
Yeah, 100%. All right, jump over to bats. First game on the slate. We are in Yankee Stadium. It is a good place to hit here tonight, as it typically is, especially for left-handed power. You got wind blowing out towards the short porch in right field as well, around 10 miles an hour. You know how bad that Houston bullpen is outside of the back half, right? If you get in the back arms like a Hader, those guys. But you have to assume the Yanks jump on this cat here early. Ethan Pecco, just horrible control, not good against lefties. He's going to see the Yankees' best lineup that is available right now. Grisham looks great to me. Garcia looks great. Jones, Wells, Rice, Jazz, Bellinger. You want all the lefties. Don't forget about Lombard, though, either, or Caballero. Both of those guys, I prefer Lombard, but Caballero, all it takes is a walk for him. He can steal anytime he's on. He's going to steal. 1 through 9, Yankees, my top overall stack on the slate, even ahead of teams like the Dodgers and the Twins. They're going to be held in check as well in terms of ownership, which typically is the case on a 12-game slate, but the Twins are going to soak up any sort of ownership that you have to worry about anyways. Love me some Yankees here tonight. I think they're awesome plays. I'm going to be loading the wagon on New York here to kick off the slate. How do you see this one?
Yeah, it almost seems a little bit too easy, don't it? You got a guy he's had the one start. He went 90 pitches. Guy gave up a bunch of fly balls. They're just asking for the trouble today. They're going to be throwing out 7 lefties at him. And every one of them's got home run power. Grisham, Rice, Garcia, Bellinger, Jones, Jazz, Wells. He's got his work cut out for him, as you mentioned. That bullpen sucks too, so that's another bonus that we're going to want to chase after. So, yeah, I got the Yankees in my top 3 today. That's for damn sure. I don't know if I got them number 1, but I definitely have them up there in my top 3. They're definitely up there. I just think that that bullpen is just bad, man. Like, I got to have a piece of the Yankees today. Like, I've been chasing bad bullpens, and them and the A's are the bullpens I've been going after, and I'm going to expect to be doing the same today.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I love the Yankees at their ownership. I mean, all these guys are projected to be under 5%, 10% owned as a stack. Sign me up for that. I mean, you're talking 5 guys projected to be right around 40% owned for the 5-man stack against Ethan Pecco, who has fly ball issues and command issues, and then a bad bullpen with the wind blowing out in a short porch. Yeah, it's only 70 degrees. But, yeah, I'll take my chances. I love the Yankees here overall. No Astros interest for me against Will Warren if you wanted to. The lefties are where you're going, so right away that jumps out to Jordan. His price is way up there. I think Taylor Trammell is actually kind of interesting. He's actually put together a pretty good season, and he's cheap. So I think like a little Trammell, Jordan, a little contrarian, little mini stack, something like that to target that left-handed power where Will Warren is susceptible. But I'm not full stacking the Astros here. Yankees do have a pretty good bullpen as well, and Will Warren is still a pretty serviceable arm. Jordan's obviously in play anytime he's on the slate. You got 2 other cheap guys in there, Wade and Varsho. There's some pinch hit risk there. But if you wanted a contrarian Astro stack that has the full 9 inning at bats, it'd be the lefties for me. I just can't play everyone on the slate, so I much prefer the Yankee side of that game. Next spot, Blue Jays and the Royals. This team's probably going to pick up a decent amount of ownership, at least. That's what projections would say when I ran the dry run in terms of the Blue Jays. I just hate picking on Seth Lugo. I mean, this dude doesn't have any upside for a DFS arm. He occasionally will spike a high upside performance, but typically he just goes up there and throws, kind of navigates the lineup, just does his thing. You always have that horrendous bullpen behind him, so I won't be shocked to see Toronto get there. I'm not playing Toronto on a 12-game slate. Royals, how fitting. They won their first slate, and it was at the live final for $1 million. Haven't won a slate since 1912. Titanic hit the iceberg, and here you go. For $1 million, 100-man field, the Royals ship everything on a Sunday. Surprise, surprise, right? Crazy shit happens on Sunday. I'm not signing up to play the Royals here either. This game, for bats perspective, is not a game that I'm really looking to target too much on either side. Yeah, if you wanted to pick off individual guys, John Rave, if you want to chase his 2 stolen bases in the 8th, something like that. Carter Jensen, I don't mind it against Max Scherzer, right? The corpse of Max Scherzer. You want lefties against him, if anything. So Michael Massey, Vinny P, Rave, Jensen, those guys I think are fine, but not in this ballpark, not on the 12-game slate for me. How do you see it, though?
Yeah, picking on Max has been a lot of fun here in recent times. His last start, he gave up 7 earned runs. He hasn't been good. I know I picked on him that night, but I don't generally, as we all know, I don't generally like using the Royals, and especially on a big type slate. But I mean, maybe if you wanted just to look like for Caglione, Bobby Witt, you could look at maybe some Vinny P. I just wouldn't get overly excited on it. That Toronto bullpen hasn't looked good either, but I'd have the Royals maybe just outside my top 5 today. I mean, I bump them down. I just don't like using them as a full stack because I just don't feel like they have enough power overall. They really get the job done. As you said, it's kind of been a while since they've won a slate, but I mean, I like picking on Max. You know, I've always thought about Max too, Nate. Like, how many people name their dog Max because they got 2 different colored eyes, like a blue and a brown one? I think we all kind of know. It seems like we know somebody. I know 2 people name their dog Max because they got a blue eye and a brown. I mean, I did know he did pitch in Detroit, so it probably makes it a little bit more relevant. But yeah, I always laugh when I say, I'm like, oh, baseball fan. I always say that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I can see the case for sure, but the issue is Toronto bullpen. Yeah, it hasn't been as good as it started the year. It's about 14th right now, kind of middle of the pack in terms of xFIP over the last 2 months. The issue is they're all rested. They had a day off yesterday, so nobody's going back to back. And the most taxed arm is at like 20 pitches in the last 3 days with a day off yesterday. So the issue I see then is, I mean, you need kind of the nut run out, right? They're not going to leave Max out there to dry. At least I would hope not. Overall, I get the reason. I would love to pick on Max. If the bullpen was more taxed, I'd make a better case for it, I think. And I wouldn't be shocked to see it. You definitely want the lefties. Yeah, I mean, you can play Carter Jensen, Vinny P, Bobby Witt, Perez, those guys at any dime. They're on the slate. But I won't go crazy overboard here. I will say Michael Massey is a pretty cheap second baseman. Second base is a pretty weak position, so I don't hate that. But overall, I'm not super excited there. I do get the reasoning and the points there. However, next spot, Brewers, Mets, Citi Field. I told myself I'd never stack in this ballpark again. That includes here tonight. Wouldn't be shocked to see the Brewers put up a big score. I'm just not going to be chasing it. I mean, Zach Thornton's not any good, in my opinion, especially against righties. Churia looks like a great spend up. Vaughn, Gary Sanchez, William Contreras, who's been red hot as of late. Joey Ortiz as well against lefties. I think he could play. I hate this ballpark. I don't know. I hate this ballpark. I don't really want to play it on a 12-game slate. Doesn't really change here. 7.5 game total as well. Talk to me. How do you see this one?
I'm having the big one. Nate. You mean to tell me I like the Brewers more than you? What in the damn world we living in, son? Like, seriously. No, you look at Thornton on the other hand, man. That dude's not good against righties. He's got a low ground ball percentage, which that's what we need against the Brewers. He's got 36% ground ball rate compared to a 51% ground ball rate to the left side. But, I mean, he's only going to get, two, Turang and Mitchell, probably the only two lefties he's going to see. The last 30 days, Nate, he's been getting smoked by righties. 380 WOBA. He's got a 232 ISO. He's got a 15% K rate and a 10% barrel rate against righties. Now, I get you don't like the park. Normally, the Brewers ain't a team banging a bunch of homers anyway. They do everything else. Like they're stealing bags, taking extra bags, getting a hit. They're putting the ball in play. So I think the Brewers are a team that I would have in my, we'll call them my sneaky bucket. Like don't discount the Brewers here. Like I still think, and the Brewers are the ones that once in a while put up game totals that makes you like, damn, like they put up them 22 runs a week ago. I mean, I get it. It's a game total sitting here looking at 7.5. I generally don't like offenses in games that got a 7.5 total, but I just don't think Thornton's that good. I do prefer the Brewers against a righty, but I mean, we got a lefty here that's just that's not keeping the ball on the ground. He's been getting hit hard. I mean, you got a team in the Brewers that we know are gonna score some runs, and I definitely think the Brew Crew. We can't discount the Brew Crew, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, I can't discount it, but the issue is Thornton is pretty hard to steal on anyways. He's only allowed 3 stolen bases in 50 innings pitched. And the ballpark sucks. I mean, it's just horrible. I would not be shocked to see them have upside, right? Talked about Churio, Contreras, who's had a great month. Joey Ortiz has been probably one of the best players sneakily on this entire team over the last 2 months, if you look at his stats overall. So I get it. Cooper Pratt being back in that lineup, it makes a lot of sense, right? They have a lot better lineup against left-handed pitching. Now, that also adds in pinch hit risk, right? Guys like Jake Bauers aren't in there. He's going to come off the bench. Yelich isn't in there. He could come off the bench. So I just see a lot more downside. I would not be shocked in tournament, like 20 max stuff. I think they're a great play when you're eating chalkier arms, right? If you're going like a Liberatore, Gavin Williams, like everyone else, don't play the Twins, play the Brewers, something like that in those larger field contests. I can definitely see it. But I do have some other sneaky stacks on the slate that I like more. I know it's shocking. I know it's breathtaking. It probably means the Brewers are going to score 15 tonight because I'm off of them. But I hopefully you guys tail and you win all the money then, Gyiraszin. Next spot.
I would do nothing more than to send you a screenshot with the Brew Crew stack that I wanted you didn't win on.
You know my golden rule. I always have them in MME, so hopefully that team gets all the way there. But in my MME stuff, that
would help them get to the top of my new list for a new playoff team I'm looking for. That's for damn sure.
I would love it as a fan, but yeah. Next spot, Dodgers, Braves, Bryce Elder on the mound, Tyler Glasnow making his first start back after an injury. Dodgers, good implied run total right up there with teams like the Braves. Dodgers going to get some ownership on this team. They probably are on the slate. They probably come in second behind the Twins. Full not locked inning for 9 innings here. Truist Park, it's going to be like 90 degrees, super hot and humid out there in Atlanta. Some slight wind blowing out as well. It is going to play above average here for hitting in this park. Issue for me is the Braves bullpen is just straight nails. It is still the Dodgers at the end of the day. I think they're good plays. They're up there. They're one of the top stacks. I do have The Twins and the Yankees both over them, but I do think they have to be in your top 5 here. Elder historically struggles against left-handed hitters, and you're going to see some really good ones here. Ohtani, Freeman, Muncy, Edman, Tucker, Thomas, Alec Thomas, my guy back in there. He's always got a soft spot for me. I love that dude. He's a big pinch hit risk, but I mean, he's 2,400 and Alex Call is making the start. So that's one of the guys that if a lefty came in, they would probably pinch hit Alex Call in there. I think this is a really good spot on paper, and I definitely see it, and I will definitely have them in my top 5. I do have a couple other squads above them, though. Talk to me here. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I do. I got the Dodgers a little bit probably below than you do. I mean, I probably have them around 5, to be honest with you. The thing that worries me is, yeah, Elder can get beat up. I mean, he hasn't been good, but I mean, if he wasn't good 2 starts ago, the 7 out of 8 starts before that, he gave up 3 earned runs or less. He doesn't have a high strikeout percentage. His walk rate in his last 30 days has been pretty high to the left side. I get it. The Dodgers got a bunch of lefties, but you mentioned that Braves bullpen is tough. And I'm pretty certain they got about 4 lefties sitting down there that are pretty mean too. So there is a lot of pinch hit risk down there below with Tucker. It seems like they're getting mad at Tucker. And then Alec Thomas. I think all those guys down at the bottom are definitely pinch hit risk. You probably end up seeing Kiki, do you love me, come in at some point here. But I think that's what worries me. I think is that bullpen and the lefties that are going to be able to roll out, I think is what's scaring me. But I mean, they definitely could get to Elder and get the job done. I think that game's going to have some runs at the beginning half because the back half of that game, it's going to get pretty tight. But yeah, I think they're in play. It's just, I mean, if they were going to be the highest owned team, it'd be an easy fade for me just because I'd be afraid of the bullpen. But yeah, I mean, I probably have them around I got a few teams I like a little bit more in them, but they're definitely in play for me. But I am concerned about the bullpen and the lefties I got.
Yeah, I hate stacking against Atlanta, regardless of who it is, because of that bullpen. And that bullpen's really good. It's rested. They had a day off yesterday. So they're going to have their good guys. Suter's probably going to be available. He's a lefty. So the biggest pinch hit are the catcher, Hunter F, I'll call him, because I'm terrible at pronunciations. And then Alec Thomas is your next guy. You're probably talking like a 50-50 chance that the catcher gets pinch hit for there. So there is some risk there overall. I get the reasoning, but that's why I have teams like the Yankees, the Twins, so some of those squads over the Dodgers here tonight when you add in the bullpen. For me, next spot, White Sox, Rangers, Jacob deGrom, Anthony Kay in the mound. Kay, not good against righties. I think Wyatt Langford, Zeke Duran, Jake Berger make a lot of sense here. Berger hit a bomb yesterday. Duran, Langford had good games. They almost helped me pretty much take down everything at like 2% ownership. Shout out to my guy Bellman for getting me on some Rangers yesterday. And the White Sox had to use a shit ton of their bullpen yesterday. We know the bullpen sucks. You want to talk about a sneaky spot here. I mean, you're going to get the Rangers unowned on a slate where we just saw them put up almost 10 runs yesterday. And now they got even a more taxed bullpen against a guy who, yeah, is decent against lefties, but is horrible against righties. I think the Rangers are super sneaky on the slate. Nobody's going to play them. They got the job done for me yesterday. I'm going to go right back to the well. I prefer the righties overall, but Corey Seager is one of the best lefty hitters in the game. Talk to me here. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind picking on K here. I mean, he's got a 14% K percentage to the right side, 15% on the year, 14 in the last 30 days. But he gets barreled up by righties. So, yeah, I don't mind it at all. I mean, especially, with a guy, he does have a mid-ground ball lean, though. I mean, he's been getting more ground balls the last 30 days than he did at the beginning part of the season. He's at 63% to lefties, 46% to righties. So, I mean, obviously, with that being said, we're going to want some of these guys that hit fly balls. Corey Seager, as you mentioned, 28%. Langford, almost 30%. Hoppe, 35%. Berger, 30%. Duran, 27%. I mean, they got some guys that can get the ball up in the air. Even Jansen down there at the bottom of the lineup. So I do like it. I think it's definitely in play. I wouldn't have it too high up my rank. It ain't my top 5 or nothing. But and as far as picking on deGrom, I mean, maybe if you wanted to power hunt, if you wanted to maybe do that. I mean, he has been getting barreled up by lefties so far this year. His ground ball percentage is low. DeGrom, 27%, 36% fly ball rate. So, I mean, Murakami gets the ball up in the air quite a bit, 40%. That's pretty high. So is Colson Montgomery. They do have some strikeouts there, but I feel like you're going to get a strikeout or a fly ball hit in the air against DeGrom. So, I mean, if you wanted to maybe get a little leverage, I think you're going to get some ownership on DeGrom. I wouldn't say he's going to be the top end pitcher. I could see him probably, maybe in the teens or so. But, yeah, I mean, maybe if you wanted to one-off one of the White Sox, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. You definitely know that they got some power there. But, yeah, I think I'd look at that. But the Rangers, I think, are interesting. I think the more you talk about it, I think you're selling me a little bit more on it, but I don't mind picking on K.
Yeah, I mean, when you add in the bullpen, how bad it is, and you're talking 87 pitches, those guys are those are long guys, but they're both unavailable. Brazoban threw 21 yesterday. He's at 47. He's going to be unavailable. And then the next guys that they have left, Newcomb threw 38 pitches on Sunday. He's going to be fatigued. Taylor, 30 pitches. Smith, 25. I mean, so you're talking about their back end guys are the guys available. And I mean, one of them's already a lefty too. So the Rangers might see a bunch of lefties in this lineup. So you're talking pinch hit risk a little bit lower too for this squad. It's a decent place to hit. 70-some degrees in Chicago with some slight wind kind of shifting around the field as well. And they're unowned. So I personally, myself, I do have the Rangers ranked ahead of the Royals just because I like the spot a little bit more and the ballpark more. And it's a much worse bullpen and it's taxed. So everything kind of checks out to me. Would not be shocked to see the Rangers get the job done. And they're dirt cheap on a slate. And maybe that's how you flip the bill, Gyiraszin. You go, we definitely have to spend up arms to play on the slate. Maybe you pair up Jacob deGrom with the Rangers and then play Gavin Williams alongside of them and just go double spend and flip the build completely. I think that's an interesting route to go. On the White Sox, I didn't want to call it one guy. My guy, Tristan Peters, this dude is red hot at the plate right now. DraftKings refuses to raise his price. He will steal bases. He's hit a home run in 2 out of the last 3 games or 3 straight, something like that. He's 2,800 at outfield against a fly ball guy in DeGrom, giving up a ton of power. Peters has not struck out at all in the last month. 246 ISO, 341 WOBA. He looks like a great value play that nobody's going to play in the slate. Murakami obviously can always get there. It's either a home run or a fly or a strikeout, it seems, for him. So I'd just rather save the $3,000 at an outfield spot where it's not a single opportunity cost of first base, right, where you can only play one. Give me some Tristan Peters. I think he's a really good play on the slate as well as a one-off. Next spot, Cardinals, Orioles, Bassett, Liberatore. You're going to get some leverage against Liberatore. Encarnacion Strand would be the guy I'd look at. I think Liberatore is one of my favorite pitchers on the slate. He is a fly ball guy, but Busch Stadium does mitigate that somewhat. These Cardinals pitchers, I don't know. These guys are magicians. I do think Liberatore is like their best one that they have. So I'm more in on Liberatore than any of these O's. I would not be shocked to see a guy like Kobe Mayo, Encarnacion Strand, Pete Alonso, like I said, tag one there. But overall, as a stack, I'm not on the O's. Cardinals, I think Weatherholt, Burleson, Chris Bassett, the corpse of him. He's horrible against lefties. So you got Nolan Gorman as well, a cheap third baseman with a ton of power. He came back up from AAA. I think Weatherholt, Burleson, Nolan Gorman make a lot of sense on this slate. Pick 2 of those 3 or play all 3 of them. They're all cheap. They're all reasonably priced. And Bassett is still trotting out there making starts. He can't get lefties out. So it makes a lot of sense to me too. So I see some one-offs, 2-man stacks here, not full 5-mans for me. Personally, how do you see this one?
I mean, Bassett has been pretty good against righties. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, he's not been good against lefties. 13% K rate. I mean, he's got a pretty good ground ball rate as well to the right side. So we got a mid ground ball lean pitcher with that can't strike anybody out. You're gonna want some lefties if you want anything against them. I mean, I guess I would look for Burleson if you wanted to go that route. I don't like it. I wouldn't get there, and I'm not interested in picking on Liberatore with the O's. I think the only one, if you wanted to go there, maybe Strand, like you mentioned, Kobe Mayo, Alonso, maybe that part of the lineup. But after that, I got no interest.
Yeah, I agree. That's the first 6 early games. So another clear-cut slate where you have 6 early, 6 late makes for a lot of sense in terms of late swapping. If you're playing DeGrom kind of shits on his head. Harrison doesn't do good. Any of those guys, right? And you're backloaded with a chalky twin stack, something like that. Definitely make sure you're around to late swap your teams with these 6 night slate games, and kind of let SaberSim do its power in terms of the live ownership that it has, right? The more information you have, the better overall you can make in terms of your lineup adjustments. First game of the night window here, Guardians, Angels, Urena on the mound, Gavin Williams. It's a clear-cut cross-off spot for me. Urena has been good. I'm not playing any Guardians. Gavin Williams, I'm not playing any Angels against him. I mean, if you wanted to play Mike Trout always, you can play him, but this is a clear-cut stay-away spot for me from a bats perspective. Gavin Williams, best arm on the slate. Urena has been good enough real life. Don't really love his price and his upside at the price tag, but not playing bats against him either.
You mentioned it. I think Trout would be the only guy I'd even consider playing like as a one-off against Williams if you wanted some leverage. He has been getting barreled against righties 16% in the last 30 days, almost 12% on the year. I did mention he gives up some power, so I don't mind Trout. I don't mind him at all, actually. I think he'd be definitely maybe even some Neto. You could go there. They both have decent fly ball rates. So I'm not overly concerned, and I'm not picking on Urena either. He's a notorious ground ball pitcher. I don't want anything to do with that at all. I can't play Cleveland in normal spot, let alone a ground ball pitcher, so I'll just pass.
Yeah, for sure. Next spot on the docket, we do have the Cubs and the D-backs. Brandon Pfaadt on the mound, Clay Holmes on the mound. I don't think Clay Holmes is very good. I mean, Lars Nootbaar, Carroll, Perdomo, some of those lefties look pretty good to me. You got a cheap Kepler. Tim Tawa just continues to hit for this team, but I just can't play Tim Tawa at first base over a bunch of these other first basemen. Cubs have been red hot. Outside of PCA fucking smoking my lineup last night, the $7,000 zero. That was nice, but the hell of a season he's putting on. He's all the way up at 6,900. You have to pay for it, but the rest of this lineup's pretty affordable. Michael Busch looks really good to me. Ian Happ. Pedro Ramirez is red hot right now. He's 4K at second base. I think he's interesting. Conforto hit a bomb last night. So did Kelly. I think he could get to this Cubs lineup, but Pfaadt's just a decent enough pitcher. I think he's actually better than what people give him credit for. So this is really not a spot that I love the Cubs. I would not be shocked to see the Cubs do their thing. I actually might give a slight lean to the Arizona lefties at the top of that lineup overall. But again, not a spot where I really love offense too much in retrospect to some of the other teams we already talked about. How do you see this one?
I mean, the only reason I'd even play the Cubs is if you were a Cubs fan and you just want to play a team that's been just hitting well. Because, I mean, Pfaadt's like 13 games in a row before his last one had like literally 2 earned runs or less. Like the dude just don't get hit hard at all. So I think that's definitely concerning. He did give up 3 homers though his last start. But that's totally an anomaly because I don't think he gave up a home run from since June 30th. He didn't give a home run. So it was like 2 months he didn't give up a homer. So then he gave up 3 last time. So I'm just a little concerned about that matchup with Pfaadт, whatever his name is. But I mean, yeah, you mentioned PCA, but I just I don't like to mess with pitchers that seem to be pitching well. His control's good. He just doesn't have the upside as far as Ks that we're looking for. We definitely don't want to pick on the Cubbies as far as using Brandon Pfaadt, but I'm not interested in using the Cubs. I mean, like I said, if you wanted to go there just because they've been, one of the better offense in baseball and PCA and ride that chain, then go for it. But I mean, other than that, it just doesn't. The numbers don't line up for me.
Yeah. I agree. I do think the Arizona side's kind of sneaky overall, though, against Clay Holmes, who I'm not a believer in. Next spot on the slate, Pirates, Padres, Paul Skeens, Michael King. This is a game that I'm just pretending doesn't exist. I know Skeens has not been good. Padres could do their thing. Jackson Merrill, I think, is a good one-off. Fernando Tatis, but I'm not playing 6K for Tatis against Skeens in this matchup. Skeens still does have the strikeouts. He does give up some runs, so I'd not be shocked. I'm just not playing San Diego's Park on a 12-game slate against Paul Skeens and that bullpen who Obviously, like I said yesterday, made a bunch of additions at the trade deadline to beef it up. And then obviously we know how good San Diego's bullpen is. This is a game I'm just pretending doesn't exist from bats, and I hope it's 3-1, something like that. And Skeen just doesn't post a ceiling game where you have to have it. How do you see it?
Yeah, I don't want to pick on Skeens. I mean, game total sitting at 7.5. We don't like the park. So isn't really a necessary, for us to try to jam it. I don't like it. I mean, if it was in a different park, I'd maybe be interested in some of the lefties for the Pirates against King, who hasn't looked good at all against lefties in recent times. But I don't like the park. I think there's too many way better spots, and it's just not worth it.
I agree. It takes us to the most important game, Sutter Health. 90-some degrees here, wind blowing out. Surprise, surprise. Rinse and repeat of yesterday. Twins did some damage yesterday, but again, I preferred them more as mini stacks. The mini stack got there as well. Again, yesterday, another spot where I'd not be shocked to see them. I do think Gage Jump is a much better arm talent than Jeffrey Springs is. So I think the Twins are still interesting as like mini stacks. Clemens, even lefty. I think he's going to be one of the lower owned guys. I think he's interesting. Culpepper, Royce Lewis. I like that combo at 4-6 in the lineup. That got a big bump. I'm still going to fade Byron Buxton. Maybe he gets back on the horse after he hit a double yesterday. I haven't liked what I saw from him, and he's going to be one of the highest owned bats on the slate and is expensive. So for me, I rank the Twins. I go Lewis, Culpepper, Jeffers, Clemens, those kind of four. I don't love this squad again here as a full stack. I like the Dodgers more. I like the Yankees more. I like a team we're going to talk about more. I like some of the other squads we already talked about. Texas. I mean, at ownership on a 12-game slate, I'm not just fading them because they're lower or over-owned. I get it, right? Jump has not been good at home. 6 ERA, has command issues. I can see the upside. I think he's a good enough arm talent long-term that kind of takes me off the Twins. And if the Twins go out there and get you 6 runs, that might not be enough at their salaries. They're super expensive here. Talk to me. How do you see this one?
Yeah, you mentioned Jump's been bad at home. We talked about it when I think Matt and I talked about it when he was on the road. It may have been you, but like how much better he is, because we feel like he's got to throw the perfect pitch all the time at home in that Cracker Jack park he's playing out there in Sacramento. But dude, like he's got a 20% walk rate against lefties his last 30 days, 14 against the right side. That ain't gonna get you anywhere. It's Woba's 367 against the righties. So, he definitely could get beat up. I could see where it could happen. I mean, you look at the Twins. I mean, you got Culpepper. That dude's going to be pretty popular at shortstop, really cheap shortstop. And then you got some righties, Lewis, Jeffers, Buxton. I think they're all definitely going to be in play. Jeffers, I think, is one that I like. I definitely got the Twins in my top 3. But I think they got, some pretty cheap pieces. They always fill out different spots in the infield that are generally tough. But, yeah, I like some Twins here. And we know that A's bullpen absolutely sucks. So that's another thing that I definitely like chasing. So, yeah, give me some of them Twins. I got them ranked pretty high.
Yeah, I definitely get the case for sure. It's a great spot on paper. I didn't want to talk about the A's. I'm not going to really be on the A's here. Bradley's a good enough arm. He does give up fly balls to lefties. The issue is that the A's lineup is atrocious. If you wanted to mess with Walton or a Butler, something like that, I think that's interesting. I'm not a believer in Jeff McNeil, so if you wanted to ride his kind of decent last month, you could do that. He typically is not a power guy. He's a slap it around the ballpark kind of guy, and on a 12-game slate, that's not the upside I'm looking for. Cortez does have some power. Issue is he gets pinch hit for 100% pretty much. Anytime a lefty comes in, he's getting the hook there. So it'd just be Butler and Walton. But overall, I'm a little lower on this game compared to what the field's going to be. I mean, I'm seeing like 120% combined ownership for the Twins 5-man stack. When I ran the dry run, I got like 90-some% of this team. I mean, I'll take the field against the Twins on a 12-game slate with big contest and top-heavy prize pools. So I'm going to use the Twins more as position fillers, as 2-man kind of stacks, and get a differentiating 5-man lower-owned stack and take my chances that way is kind of how I'm approaching the slate. 2 games left to talk about. Next one, Phillies, Mariners, George Kirby, Aaron Nola. I think this game's kind of sneaky here for offense, Gyiraszin, and it doesn't feel good to say in this ballpark here, but Kirby has been atrocious over the last month, both sides of the plate. Nobody's going to play Philly, and Harper and Schwarber don't give a fuck what park they're hitting at. I'll tell you that right now. They're going to be unknown. Brandon Marsh, Trey Turner has turned it around in the second half here. Real Muto hit a bomb last night. He's got good power against righties. You look at Kirby over the last month, I know he's better at home, but a 7% strikeout rate against right-handed hitters, 14 or 15% against lefties, 267 ISO allowed to both sides of the plate, WOBA above 400. I think this is a pretty sneaky spot for the Phillies. And then we talked about Nola. I think Nola has a lot of upside, but what does he do? He gives up home runs. So guys like Canzone hitting second, I think he makes a lot of sense. Rosarena, I think he's interesting. J-Rod, I'm not chasing the 3 home runs from Cal Raleigh. Last night, I saw a thing on Twitter. PCA gave him a smack on the ass as he walked up for his first at bat. Proceeded to go over, and so maybe PCA passed the torch over to Cal Raleigh last night after he smacked his ass, and PCA forgot a hit last night. So maybe that's something, but I'm not putting too much stock into that. It'd be Canzone or Rosarena. J-Rod is kind of my 3 guys I'd look at there. Outside of that, I much prefer the Phillies side for bats overall, which seems crazy to say.
It's really not crazy, man. Kirby sucks, as you said. I mean, he's been bad in his his WOBA to the left side the last 30 days, 475, 350 to the right side. Ground ball percentages are low. Fly ball percentages are high to the right side. He's been getting barreled up by righties. I mean, he's just not been good. Not good at all. So, I could see it. And like you said, Schwarber getting a homer anywhere, Harper. So I don't mind it. I think it's a stack that'd be outside my top 5, but I see why you'd want to pick on Kirby. He's just not been good. We definitely like the power. Anytime you can get a really powerful lineup in a spot, maybe against a bad pitcher that isn't getting any kind of love, I think it's definitely worth considering. As far as Nola does give up a lot of power, as we know. I think I'd just rather have some lefties, Canzone, maybe Naylor, maybe Kyle Riley. I don't generally like chasing, the home runs, but maybe, hey, he did hit 50-some, 60 last year. So maybe he'll get on a little mini stretch here and not make the season look as bad as it's been for him. But yeah, I think I'd rather prefer to play Nola, to tell you the truth, just because he's been so good with his strikeouts. But yeah, I think the Phillies are definitely interesting. I don't like the park, but I think they're interesting.
Yeah, I don't like the park either, but outside of one park, there's really not that many great. Yankee Stadium, sure, you can say that, and then obviously Sutter Health. But outside of that, we don't have Coors Field. We don't have a Wrigley Wind game. We don't have Kauffman Stadium with the wind blowing out. We don't have a lot of the best parks on this slate. And you look at the Mariners bullpen, I know it's been decent, but 3 arms yesterday, 3 on Sunday, 3 on Saturday, 47, 45, 39 from their top guys, Dominguez, Rucker, and Vargas. I think it's pretty interesting. An unknown Phillies team with a ton of power. I think it makes a lot of sense here. They got to what's his face yesterday a little bit as well, and I think Kirby's much shittier overall long term. Last game on the slate out in San Fran here, Giants and the Reds to end the slate. 2 pitchers we talked about here. I'm not getting to anyone in this game really. I do want to say Devers' price is super cheap. It is still Brady Singer. He has shown some power issues at times to lefties, and he's going to see 7 lefties here. Gilbert and Devers hit bombs last night. Jung-Ho Lee's been actually sneakily really good. So that top 3, I don't think is the craziest play in the world because you do have a really, really horrible bullpen behind him as well. But I'm much more lean pitching in this one. I do think Devers at third base in particular, 4,100 is a nice pivot off of some of these other guys like Brooks Lee for $200 less at a fraction of the ownership. How do you see this last game though?
Yeah, I think I'd just power hunt if I was looking for anything. I wouldn't get overly excited about it. If you're looking to go with against Hauser, you definitely want some lefties. So De La Cruz, maybe Blade. And then as you mentioned, maybe against Singer, you could go Devers. I don't really like it other than that. So other than that, I don't like the park. We obviously know San Francisco, San Diego, those parks are ones we don't generally play. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I think definitely an interesting slate for some bats. We got some decent pitching. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how this one works out at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Gyiraszin, your top 3 stacks, your top 3 pitchers, and a home run call if you have one to round us out. I'll do the same, and we'll get out of here and build our teams.
Top 3 stacks. I'm going to go Yankees. I'll go Twins. And you know what? I think I'm actually just going to say Brewers just because. And then my pitcher is Gavin Williams by far. Libator, I think's in there. And then maybe between Harrison and Glasnow is what I'd switch out with Gavin Williams. Just a little concerned about his recent form and how he's been hit hard, but the strikeouts are definitely there. And as far as a home run call goes here today, you know what? I think, I'm just going to go with the Yankees. I'm going to say, I'm going Luis Garcia is going to hit a home run off Pecco.
I like that. For me, Gavin Williams, number 1. Libertor, number 2. I'll go Adrian Hauser, 3, as an unowned, super cheap guy to afford some of those spend-up bats. For me, Yankees, number 1. I'll go Dodgers, number 2. And then I will say Rangers 3. I like the sneaky unowned Rangers on this slate. Home run call, I'm going to give 2. I'm going to go to the Yankees as well. I'm going to go to the 6 hole, 3,100, Spencer Jones. And then my second one is going to go back to the White Sox here against DeGrom to the 7 spot, a little 6-7 action. Tristan Peters riding the hot hand there as another value, 2,800 bat. For Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. Good luck tonight in those contests. We hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.